Jesper, just off top, Jivan, this is in protocol, we understand?
Yes, he will be out for tomorrow. We have to see for how long, but he will. He looks fine and he feels fine, and it's. I think it's better than when we saw him on the pitch, where where it didn't look good, but he felt pretty well the day after, and today also even better. So I think it's good.
Just giving Thomas some rest after a lot of action lately, I guess.
Yeah, we have to see about those minutes how we do with Thomas, but he is definitely in, and then we will see how we put it up.
What about Brian White?
He's not in. He's out. No, he's not available for tomorrow. But it looks good with him. Maybe for Saturday we have to see, but it looks good.
Poco?
No, he will not be available for tomorrow, and not for Saturday either. No.
In the time that Sabi was at striker, limited time, how do you feel that he looked and how was he out there?
Yeah, but it was. We are pretty confident with Sabi also in this role because he has been playing it before, and he has these attacking abilities. Also, he wants to attack the backspace, and he's very good in the box as well. So it was just, I think it. We know we can do that. We have different options, and it's a different kind of type than Ryan and Brian. So it's also what we want and what we think we need in a game.
You've seen Oliver playing a lot of consistent minutes lately.
Yeah.
What have you seen in his game recently that's kind of impressed or stepped up a notch?
Yeah, I think it's natural when you come in as a new player and you are obviously behind a couple of other guys, and we also have played Jivan in that position. So then it's difficult to get into a rhythm with the team and with the others. And the more you play, the more you get into the rhythm of things. And we know that he's a good player. He just needs to get acquainted with his role and position on the pitch. There are some things that he has to, of course, improve on. But in general, I think that his work ethic is brilliant, and he's covering a lot of ground. His optics game against the ball, and we know that he's a good ball distributor. So I think in general he has had a very good starting point. He's just been up against some players who has been very consistent and played at a very high level in the spring, and now he's taking strides as well when he's playing on the pitch.
How often have you seen an indirect free kick in a match? And
I've seen it many times. We have not worked on it at all. I've seen it many times because back when I played, when I played, it was a common thing. Back in long time ago. Nobody can remember it, but nowadays it's highly unusual. It was the right call from the referee. Sometimes they shy away from making the call, even though that it's pretty obvious that it's a call that should be made. We have not practiced it because it is very rare that it happens nowadays. I cannot recall last time I saw it actually in a game at this level. So it was very well taken. It was good that there was a little bit of confusion about what would happen. So we had a little bit of time to make something up, and well done by the players on the pitch. Unfortunately, we cannot take full credit for it on the coaching staff, but great from the players.
And no surprise, I guess, given that like Ryan and Thomas are involved, that they would come up with such a piece of precision.
Yeah, no, it was good, and the thing is, often when you're that close, you just want to strike it hard, which is actually not a good thing to do. You just, because there'll not be much space.
Yeah.
So it's about getting a little bit of separation. They did that with rolling with the back, rolling it back with the sole of the foot, and then just see if you can find some precision around the wall where the goalie will obviously not have a lot of options to see the ball. So it's about hitting the target, and I think it was great.
You've got a few injuries, but I was just thinking about the challenge this week, especially with your center backs having lost Franco. How does this schedule this week, given the opposition, how does that challenge your decision making?
We are very fortunate. We have three very good center backs, Ralph at the moment is on his way back. I think he played well for the time he was in. You could also see in the beginning he just needed to get in, but then he played very well apart from that, and then he crammed up. We have strong players and they are used to playing a lot of games and they're experienced, so I think we're pretty confident in that area. Of course, we are not happy that Ranko is injured. That's very unfortunate, but on the other hand, it's great that we have the players available, that they have a good quality and they're strong.
Do you think Ryan will gain even more confidence now that he scored the goal? So
Illumi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think the goal will give him confidence. I think in Monterrey he played a good game. He was a little bit hesitant in two situations where he was a little bit too long of getting the finish off. It took him too long. But here you could see he struck it first time, and he actually had a lot of time. Sometimes it's more complicated as a striker when you have more time on the ball. But he looked up and it looked very, the quality of the finish and the decisiveness when he had the chance was great. So I think we have seen also Illumi having his performance becoming better and better as he has also played more in recent games, and it's difficult. It's like what we're talking about with Oliver. It's difficult if you play one game and then it's 6 games before you play the next game, and you have to be ready all the time. I know we train every day, and it's tricky, but I think he also profited from getting more recent minutes back to back.
When do we see Alexa?
Yeah, first we need to have him into the building, and then he needs to be, climatized to this environment he is in here. But we see. It should be soon, actually, that he will come over, and then of course it will be nice to have him also in the squad and ready to play.
So he doesn't have his visa paperwork yet, but soon?
Yeah, it seems to be soon. The last I heard, last week. Yeah, and I'm still not, but I have some more information, which is good, and I think it should, as from what I've heard, it should be soon that he will be able to get his paperwork finalized, and then he'll be ready to come, of course.
Any other players soon? Maybe a Colombian American?
Oh, we have to see about that. Maybe you can tell me more, all right? I'd ask you every time.
Yes, for just one question on first in the West and second in the West, just how the high competition coming into the second half of the season. What are you expecting out of Houston?
They have been good for a long time now. Obviously, they started out one way, where they figured out that was not an efficient way for them to play. Now they've been not as aggressive in the pressure. They've been a little bit more reactive to the opponents, but very good on counterattacks, and they have a lot of good players. I think that team is great, and hopefully it's going to be a very good game. I hope for a large showout, and we are definitely ready to come play. So hopefully it's going to be a great game.
It's an 80s game as well. We're wearing our throwback jerseys. They're wearing their throwback jerseys. What's your favorite thing about the 80s? Any good memories back then?
Phone booths. Phone booths. Yeah, they were great. They were nice. Real telephones.
Slam the phone with your mouth.
That was nice. Not as many TV channels. That was also nice. So it was back when I was 7 years old in 1980, and so it was just happy days for me.
What about the music?
The music was amazing. I still love the music from the 80s, and there were so many new things popping up, and a lot of I remember a lot of color and a lot of joy and dancing, and it was colorful. It was nice.
You're a big movie and TV guy. Is there a TV show that gives you a lot of nostalgia from that decade?
From the 80s?
Yes.
Yes, but not some, I think because it was Danish, something called Matador. It was a big thing, and you know what I also liked back in the 80s, actually, it was that you didn't have streaming back then, so when people saw something, they saw it at the same time. So when we showed up at school Monday, we've all seen maybe a football game Saturday from England. We've all seen a show Friday or Saturday night. Everybody had to see, or maybe Sunday afternoon, and you know, that was the talking point, and it was great. It was great.
Thank you so much.
Is Bruno available?
Yes, he is.